down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hello, Savvy investors. Yeah, this is your friend Steve Van Kallenberg, the Savvy Landlord, back in Oklahoma City. Man, I love this place. I'm glad to be back. Mexico, woo! Let me tell you, people ask me how was Mexico, and I say fabulous. And you say fabulous too. You should set a goal to go. I probably would have never have gone if I wasn't invited as a speaker to the Mr. Landlord conference, and I appreciate Jeffrey Taylor and their team for allowing me to share what knowledge I have for the last couple of years as the Savvy Landlord, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about all that jazz? But who we do care about is what did we learn as landlords? What did you learn, and why did you go? Well, first of all, I learned a great deal, but right out the gate, a lot of reminder things that I should be doing as a landlord just reminded me, and I need to be doing it. And the meeting that I have this morning, this is why this is released late, was I was getting with my team and that we need to get this stuff legit on lockdown. And these are the things that we're implementing, and these are the things that I learned. So I'm going to pass those on to you. Number one, right now, from now on, new into my policies and procedures, we need to do a health and safe visit. That's a 3 months check on a new tenant. So what do you mean? Why? Well, recently I just got burned on a tenant that has been living in a property for 5 years. Never heard from him. Everything's all kosher, all good, gravy, making money. Thought I was making money. This dude tore the place up so bad that the feces and urine and la-da-da soaked into the baseboards, the trim, on the bottom, cove base, whatever you want to call them, one before. And we have to rip all that out of the house. It smells so bad, we can't knock it down, which is rare for me when you ask me a challenge. Hey, Van Kallenberg, how do you get cat piss out of a house? Oh, I know what to do. I cannot knock this crap down, and it's just ridiculous. So when I run the numbers and what it's going to take to get the house rent ready is like $8,000. So when I run the numbers, they lived in there for such a length of time, I lost money. So here's the point. Number one, straight at the gate. When a new tenant signs a lease, you have a checklist that you go back and visit them. Call it the health and safety visit. Call it the insurance need to look at your house visit. I don't care what you call it, but you need to get into that property 3 months after you sign a lease with someone. The thing is that you can catch if there's any drama. If these people are dirty, they're going to be dirty 3 months into the game. And you're just there to check the air filter, make sure everything is functional. Hopefully you're doing well. You can let them know in advance that you're coming, but you should definitely see the property. It is a rule in my society, in my world of the Savvy Landlord, whatever, 3 month wellness check, whatever you want to call it. Then you need to do a 6 months wellness check after that. So that's 3 months and 9 months. If you check 3 months before they're moving out, and if there's damage that needs to be done of repair, you can fix that right then. I know this is so trivial. There's a lot of landlords out there that, change air filters every month. I think that's a waste of time. My life, I don't want to get over there. That's their job. That's their home. They need to maintain it. But I do, and I am. My company will be entering properties 3 months after a signed lease, 9 months after that, 9 months or 6 months after that, 9 months into their lease to make sure that they're okay. Number two, now this is an idea that I've had for a long time, and it just sparked interest there, and I didn't necessarily learn this there, but this is something that I learned that I'm implementing in my meeting today. Have handyman show your property. What do you mean? Say you're paying a handyman $10, $15, $20, $30, $40 an hour, whatever you charge whatever you pay a handyman. Hire a handyman to show your property. Well, what are you talking about? Yeah, Stephen, you have a property manager. I do, but that property manager's at another property and they can't show it. But what about this? You hire a handyman. I need you to go do these 4 or 5 items. say empty a water heater, flush out a water heater, do some repair on the soffit and fascia, maybe trim some trees. I don't know, some tasks that need to be done. Well, set those tasks up that during a time of showing, and you let that handyman know, hey, I'm going to send some people over there to check out the property. That handyman is not going to know anything, so he's not going to have any answers, so he's not going to say anything right or wrong. He could just say, hey, I'm just a worker. Two things that happen. One, you're not paying someone that you're getting 2 for 1 in my world. You're going to pay them to be there anyway. You might as well get something out of them. And the tenant, potential tenant, sees that this management company cares and they're working on that property. I don't know if that means anything to you. I don't know if it means anything to a prospective tenant, but what it means to me is I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They're on the property working, cleaning up trash, picking up stuff, raking the leaves. I don't care what they're doing, but they're doing something for the amount of money that I'm paying them. While they're doing it, I can set up a showing. So just basic, and in my world, that, you know, we have showings on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, maybe Thursday nights or whatever. We have a schedule, and then we just try to push people into those specific time blocks to show property, and that we group them all together, as many people as we can. We create a sense of urgency, and that should be a podcast tomorrow. Sense of urgency, little tip for you. Number 3, payday rent program. This is something, bi-weekly rent program, and I sat down with my property manager today, the general manager. I was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This came up a lot on this conference and on this retreat, and, you know, I think we're missing the boat. She's like, I love the idea. 2 things that she said that I never even thought about. 1, we don't have to wait till the first of the month to get paid. Number 2, it slows down all the traffic that we receive. And what payday rent program or bi-weekly is that people pay their rent when they get paid. So they don't have to try to save up. Basically, you're forcing them to budget their money, or not even budget. You're sucking it out of their account so they would pay their rent on time. How fabulous is that? And if it's every other week, there's extra weeks in there, and you charge them a fee for that. So that was number 3. I'm finally, Mr. Landlord, Brad Grayson, all the other savvy, you know, investor landlords out there that already do it. I'm slow to the game, but I'm putting it in process now. Thank you, Puerto Vallarta. Number 4. This is something that I learned from Mr. Landlord years ago. It just takes me 7 to 5 years to finally implement the plan. But the great thing is, have a point system for your prospective tenants. You may have heard this before. Mr. Landlord talks this is all him right here, but it just really resonated to me. When you replace a property manager, if you run your own property management company and someone disappears, you got to replace them. Well, you know, I'm claiming the fame, systems. Yeah, I got systems, but I don't have a system for this. We kind of do this kind of off the cuff. Now we have a system in place. So we do a point system. I'm working on it right now, but we're going to institute a point system. So if someone pays, it has great pay, their job, they get a point for that. If they have an eviction, it's like a negative 10 points. If, you know, it's like a game per se. Job history, 1 point. You know, income, say their income is 3 times, but they have 4 times or an extra time, maybe that's a 1.5. I don't know. Create a point system, email it to me. I'd be fascinated to learn about it. But that's ultimately for Mr. Landlord, and I'm going to institute that. Number 5, don't be a frugal landlord. Man, that was the theme through the whole weekend. I mean, it was brought up. Don't be cheap. Be thrifty, but don't be cheap. Like, you're missing out on opportunities. And let me tell you something. I didn't miss out on any opportunities. I tried to connect with as many people as I could. I didn't want to be like, man, I did this and forgot that. No, I mean, I did whatever. If it cost this much, yes. Hey, you want to go ride the wave? Yes. I go, you want to go ride yes. Did I ride to a boat to the middle of a jungle? Yes. Was that $100-something? Yes. Was it expensive? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. But Mr. Frugal Landlord, Mr. Savvy Frugal, savvyfrugal.com, I wouldn't have not done that stuff, and I would have missed that opportunity. So don't be a frugal landlord. You'll miss opportunities. Number 6, what I learned, mistake, Van Kallenberg. I didn't get people's friends' names and numbers to follow up. Man, I've got to be religious about getting cards and giving out cards. It feels like we get together and we forget to connect. But the most important thing about getting together and retreats and the investor weekend and all these things that are created to cultivate accountability and relationships, Get the flipping phone number. Ask people for a card. Whip out your card and connect with people. Number 7, I need to know more about HSA plans. And, if you don't know this, John Heyer, he just blasted us great content on 401 self-directed. You can have a 401 self-directed IRA. Didn't know that you can borrow against that. Didn't know that borrow against yourself. Didn't know that you can also use HCA, health savings accounts plans. You can borrow out of that money and it goes back in tax deferred, tax free. Fabulous. Another thing, 8, keep going to events over and over and you'll catch it. The bell will ring. The manna will come down. Whatever it is, keep going to stay motivated. If you need some motivation, I heard an investor the other day, I'm going to go just because I'm not as motivated. I don't know what your motivation is, but you need to go to connect. There's other people that have struggled like you, that need accountability like you. And I learned that I'm going to keep going to these events. I'll never not learn enough, and you should too as well. And we have one coming up called investorweekend.com. Go to investorweekend.com. That's investorweekend.com. Figure it out later. But I'm trying to knock this podcast out before the end of the day. But we're having that. It's April 7th and 8th, Oklahoma City. It's just going to be just a fun time, and I definitely recommend you come and enjoying that with us. Number 9, don't buy a condo. I said, if you listen to the episode before this, buy a condo. I was emotional. There's so many variables that I said that when I got there, and then by the end of the time when I got back, I was like, man, don't buy a condo down there. Many reasons. 1, Donald Trump. Number 2, laws. You can buy, but you can't sell without being a citizen. I don't know for sure, but doing some research, some of my due diligence, I saw condos from $55,000 all the way up to $3 million. So it's a market that you don't necessarily want to tangle with. It sounded cool and sexy for me to say that earlier, and I retract that information. I still would like to invest with people, but I don't know if I would take that because I'd seem like I'd be doing all the work, researching out Puerto Vallarta. Anyway. Number 10, what I learned. What are you chasing after? And be clear. Man, it was interesting. A lot of investors, and these are established, super duper landlords already crushing it. And what's your goals? I had that conversation 3 or 4 times with people like, hey, how are you? I'm Steven. How are you? I'm John. What's your goals? I'm like, this is wonderful because that's exactly how I talk. It was just cool to get that back. But I'm like, I'd ask myself, what am I chasing after? And whatever I'm chasing after, may it be units, cash flow, income, freedom, you need to be clear, specific about it. And I just I can't remember what this one investor asked me, what's the number or what's the thing? And I thought that was very interesting. And I reflected on that for a little while and I realized, what am I chasing after? And whatever that goal may be, it needs to be clear. And that's what the message is today. Do that. Number 11, you can make an impact by encouraging people. Man, I've really connected with some landlords that were struggling in their life and where they're going. And it was just really cool and refreshing that I was able to impact them. And as you serve and impact other people, you serve and get served. It was just really cool that a lot of people came up to me when I was there and they listened to this podcast, and I was just honored. And it was just crazy. It was all ages, creeds and color and random people, from every walks of life were encouraging me, and it was really big. So that was number 12. But I was just amazed that people listen to the podcast. Thank you for encouraging me. It was pretty crazy. Number 13, what I learned, people wanted to know who the mystery man was. That was the second question. Hey man, they like the podcast too. Who's the mystery man? I thought that was pretty gnarly. Number 14, dude, if you travel, Verizon texts me, bing, bang, yo, you got unlimited texting, unlimited data while you're down here in Mexico. Great. But it doesn't tell you how to dial out. Yeah, dial out 001 and dial the area code. I was trying to get a hold of the sheriff as a property was being evicted, and I'm the only number on the phone, and I couldn't call the sheriff back. I was so frustrated. And then 3 days later, I was at lunch, and the lady was like, I may sound kind of dumb, but how do you dial out? And I'm like, I don't know. And this young little kid next to me, yeah, you just dial 0001, the area code. Oh, no. So if you're going to Mexico, there you go. You're going out of the country, I guess, out of Oklahoma, out of the state, out of the USA. You got to dial 001 to make a phone call. Man, what a dummy. Number 15, the peso exchange rate. Well, I know I'm a sheltered person. I don't watch TV. I read, and that's all I do. And be a dad and a husband and write books and buy houses. That's all I do. Well, I thought that green was the best, dollar bills. Like, first of all, I thought a millionaire, man, money goes far. I one time I paid dinner for everybody and I was like, like a zillionaire. People were like thanking me, but it was pretty fascinating that you could feed 5 people, a bunch of drinks, have a wonderful time. It was like $40. So the exchange rate is amazing. But what I did learn, and I got stung several times, it's better to pay in pesos than it is to pay in green dollar United States. And so the exchange rate with the merchant is not as strong. I'm talking about the side vendors and whatnot compared to having pesos. Because like one time I got stung on a cab. The guy's like $10, and with pesos it came out to like $6. So welcome to the club. Just want to let you know, get your pesos before you roll out and negotiate. They love to negotiate. 16. We need to learn to be accountable to each other. Get people's phone numbers. Miss that. And I think I'm going to roll out a program here pretty soon, folks. If this is something that interests you, but a accountability phone call, I'm not sure, once a week. But let's just get together. Everyone get off on the phone and help each other. I thought that would be a cool idea. Everyone needs accountability. I learned that a lot there. And I'll give you another side one, and then I'll give you the final one. Well, here's the final one. Number 17, mobile passport. Yep. You can re-enter the United States through an app on your phone. How cool is that? Go to your store, your download store, app store, iTunes, whatever. iTunes. Anyway, Android Play, whatever. Type in mobile passport. You can put in all your passport information. You can actually scan your passport, and you can check in at immigration or whatever it's called, entering the USA, and you can get in. It saves time, and you can bypass the line. How cool is that? And the final freebie of the day, man, 18 minutes went by fast. Contentment is everything. Enjoy your life. And, it's not easy, but you need to enjoy your life. And that's why you're a landlord. That's why you're doing this. That's why you're a real estate investor and investor. That's why you are listening to this podcast. Be who you are. Enjoy your life and be content. Hopefully this inspired you in some form or fashion. Hopefully inspired you to wake the F up early, go out and crush it, buy some assets, provide for somebody else, bless someone. Go do it.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at landlordbook and always be buying assets.